The chill hit 20 degrees on that Christmas Eve as I curled up in my car, stationed in my sister Diana's long driveway. Beyond the icy windows of her grand home, the cozy radiance of holiday lights flickered, and faint sounds of merriment drifted from the celebration within. A celebration I had been explicitly excluded from. The guest bedrooms are reserved for VIPs. Diana had chuckled earlier, her flawless cosmetics undisturbed as she spoke those harsh words. Feel free to crash in your vehicle if you're staying for Christmas morning. That's likely what you're accustomed to anyway. If only she realized the beat-up car I brought to family occasions was purely for appearances. My genuine collection, 3 Ferraris and a bespoke Rolls-Royce, waited safely in a temperature-regulated garage on the other side of the city. But allow me to step back and describe how I came to spend Christmas Eve in a vehicle outside my sister's residence. 7 years earlier, I was simply an MBA holder filled with ambition. Diana, older by 2 years, had already secured her place as a promising talent at Morton Financial, among the nation's biggest investment companies. Our parents endlessly boasted about her executive suite and impressive paycheck. As Diana ascended the corporate ranks, I spotted a chance others overlooked. Fintech was on the verge of massive growth, yet old-school banks moved too sluggishly to keep pace. I poured in my savings, took loans from whoever would provide them, and founded Finker Technologies. Those initial 2 years were punishing. I logged 100-hour weeks, napped on the office sofa, and survived on instant noodles. At every family get-together, Diana relished highlighting my questionable decisions. Still chasing that startup fantasy? She'd sneer. There's actually an entry-level role open in my team. I could mention your name. I turned her down repeatedly, which only strengthened their conviction that I was unsuccessful. Unbeknownst to them, Finker had created groundbreaking banking technology that would reshape the entire sector. The breakthrough deal arrived in year 3. One modest regional bank adopted our platform and witnessed a 300% surge in digital transaction performance. News traveled fast throughout banking circles. By year 4, we secured agreements with 3 of the nation's top 10 banks, yet I stayed completely silent about my achievements. I kept up my simple lifestyle, drove a worn-out Honda, and allowed my family to assume I was barely scraping by. All the while, Finker expanded into a major tech powerhouse, operating in 12 nations with a roster of the world's leading financial institutions. Last year, I led the company through its IPO. The public offering dominated financial headlines. Finker Technologies, the next era of banking, appeared across the Wall Street Journal. My net worth soared beyond $400 million in a single day. Even so, I preserved the pretense around my relatives, not from embarrassment, but from a desire to observe how long they would persist in their patronizing attitude. Diana, in particular, delighted in emphasizing the widening divide between our ways of living, which returns us to Christmas Eve. Diana had lately accepted a new role at Blackwater Capital, a highly regarded investment house. For weeks, she'd boasted about her new superior, Elizabeth Chin, a true industry powerhouse, and how this opportunity would catapult her into the elite circle. What my beloved sister failed to realize was that Blackwater Capital ranked among Finker's biggest customers. In reality, I had personally greenlit their agreement only the previous month. Elizabeth Chin and I held regular phone discussions about rolling out our platform throughout their worldwide network. I glanced at my phone's weather widget, 18 degrees now. Inside the mansion's inviting light, I observed Diana proudly displaying her upscale holiday ornaments to the attendees. Our parents were present, of course, beaming at their accomplished daughter hosting the event. A message appeared on my screen, all prepared for the surprise drop-in tomorrow morning. Elizabeth. I grinned, replying, yes, can't wait. Elizabeth had been livid upon hearing about Diana's treatment of me. We should show her the danger of jumping to conclusions, she'd declared in our prior session. Together, we devised the small disclosure planned for the following day. A further message arrived, this one from my chief operating officer. Forbes' piece drops at 7 a.m. tomorrow. Finker's COO crowned Businesswoman of the Year, featuring that snapshot from the charity event. Ideal timing, Diana routinely reviewed market updates over her morning brew. I leaned back in the seat, cocooning myself in the emergency blanket stored in the trunk. The absurdity struck me. A multimillionaire woman deliberately resting in her car simply to drive home a message. Peering through the glass, I saw Diana guiding visitors on a home tour. She was highlighting the luxurious imported marble surfaces in her kitchen, surfaces that likely exceeded what she believed my yearly earnings to be. My true income could purchase her entire property 100 times over. Near midnight, the gathering began to disperse. Attendees left in high-end vehicles, my parents retreated to one of the distinguished guests' suites, and the mansion's illumination gradually faded. Diana's outline emerged at an upper-floor window. She gazed down at my car and shook her head, no doubt praising her own superior judgment. If only she understood that come morning her carefully built sense of supremacy would fracture like delicate glass. I checked my watch. 12:01 a.m. Christmas Day had officially begun. In 6 hours and 59 minutes, the Forbes feature would publish. In 8 hours, Elizabeth Chin would show up unexpectedly to review her new hire's holiday gathering. And my sister would discover that the individual she banished to a car was in truth her employer's most critical partner. I fell asleep smiling, picturing Diana's expression when her flawless Christmas morning transformed into a powerful lesson in modesty. The final image before my eyes shut was my reflection in the window, a hidden CEO who opted to pass Christmas Eve in a vehicle, purely to prove a point. Sometimes the finest presents aren't covered in glittering wrap. Sometimes they arrive as overdue truths unveiled. I awoke at 6:45 a.m. to ice glazing the windows and my phone vibrating with alerts. Diana was already awake, arranging her relaxed Christmas breakfast for her new superior. From the kitchen window, I watched her directing the helpers with precision, ensuring every detail was flawless. Precisely at 7:00, a notification sounded. Forbes article published. Fin Corcio named Businesswoman of the Year. I observed Diana sit at her breakfast corner with coffee, opening her usual business news on her tablet. The crash of a mug hitting imported flooring rang through the residence. This isn't possible, I heard her stutter to our mother who had just entered. Look at this piece. The woman pictured here, she resembles whom, dear? Our mother inquired, leaning closer. Resembles Madison, but that's impossible. This is the CEO of Finker Technologies. She's worth hundreds of millions. I judged this the right moment. I exited the car, straightened my modest outfit, and approached the entrance. Diana flung the door open before I knocked, her complexion ashen. Explain this, she demanded, shoving the tablet toward me. It displayed my image from the recent Tech Innovation Awards. There I stood in a Chanel dress worth more than her vehicle, receiving the honor for most impactful tech CEO under 40. Explain what? I replied calmly. Seems like an ordinary business report. This lady looks identical to you. But she's the CEO of Finker Technologies, I completed. Founder of the firm that recently inked a $100 million deal with Blackwater Capital. The individual who personally authorized the deployment of advanced banking tools throughout Elizabeth Chin's international network. Diana's knees buckled, and she collapsed into a chair nearby. Our mother seized the tablet, fingers trembling as she scanned the text. This can't be real, she murmured. You're merely a struggling startup founder. You slept in your car. I chose to sleep there last night, I clarified, just as I choose to arrive at family events in that Honda. Care to view what I actually own? I retrieved my phone and displayed images of my true vehicle lineup. Diana grew paler still. But your place, your wardrobe, all intentional, I stated evenly. A deliberate test to discover how long my own relatives would keep belittling me while I constructed one of the planet's top tech enterprises. The doorbell chimed. Diana sprang up, suddenly recalling her superior's arrival. Oh no, Elizabeth is here. Mom, hide Madison. We cannot. Good morning, Miss Chin, I announced as Diana opened the door. Right on time. Elizabeth Chin, CEO of Blackwater Capital and supposedly Diana's direct superior, beamed warmly. Madison, Merry Christmas. I trust the car wasn't too freezing last night. Diana's mouth fell open. You two are acquainted. Elizabeth chuckled. Madison ranks among our most vital tech collaborators. We hold weekly strategy sessions on deploying FinCorp's platform across our worldwide infrastructure. Weekly sessions. Diana could barely speak. In truth, Elizabeth went on, that's one reason I took this role. When Madison mentioned her sibling had joined our organization, I decided to personally supervise this unit. Though I have to admit I'm quite unimpressed by what I've witnessed. Unimpressed? Diana squeaked. Precisely. Last evening's conduct was very revealing. Forcing your sister, who is one of our firm's most essential allies, to rest in a car. That's hardly the discernment we expect from leadership. I witnessed my sister's carefully curated reality collapse before me. Every presumption, every patronizing comment, every instance of smugness, all of it broke apart like her shattered mug on the fancy tiles. I had no idea, she faltered. Obviously, Elizabeth replied icily. Madison, shall we review the upcoming stage of our platform rollout over breakfast? I understand there's a beautiful dining area here, unless it's reserved for VIPs only. Our mother, previously paralyzed with astonishment, finally spoke. Madison, darling, we had absolutely no clue. All these years, I interrupted. I was constructing a business empire while you boasted about Diana's executive office. I transformed banking technology while you flaunted her corporate vehicle. I reached billionaire status while you made excuses for my so-called failures. Billionaire? Diana gasped. Oh, did I neglect to mention? Elizabeth smiled. FinCorp's shares climbed again yesterday. Madison's fortune officially surpassed the billion-dollar threshold. Congratulations, incidentally. I took a seat at Diana's impeccably arranged breakfast table, observing that the imported linen likely cost less than my wristwatch. Thank you, Elizabeth. Shall we cover the Asia-Pacific growth plans over these excellent pastries? Diana can pour the coffee, assuming she still has cups intact. The following hour felt dreamlike. My sister, still dazed, robotically served coffee as Elizabeth, and I analyzed multi-million-dollar tech deployments. Our mother remained in the corner, shifting between staring at me and nervously refreshing the Forbes piece on her device. At last, Elizabeth glanced at her watch. I need to depart. Madison will handle the remaining points at next week's board session. Oh, and Diana, she addressed my sister. Reflect on whether Blackwater Capital suits you. We prioritize sound judgment in our leadership team. After Elizabeth departed, quiet enveloped the home. Diana lingered by the window, watching her superior's vehicle vanish down the drive. Why? She eventually asked, facing me. Why hide everything? Why allow us to treat you like someone who belongs in a car on Christmas Eve? I finished for her. Because I needed to discover your true character. Both of you. Now I have my answer. I rose, brushing my plain outfit. Time for me to leave. I'm hosting a charity gala this evening. You may have seen coverage of it, the one where I'm contributing $10 million to schooling in disadvantaged areas. Madison, wait. Our mother advanced. Please, let us make this right. Make what right? I responded softly. Correct the fact that you prized image above compassion, that you dismissed your own child as worthless because she failed to match your idea of achievement. I moved toward the exit, then paused. Oh, and Diana, regarding your role at Blackwater, I wouldn't be overly concerned about Elizabeth's remarks. I'm confident you'll locate another opportunity. Though you should probably revise your resume. Force the CEO of our primary tech ally to sleep in her car. Not likely to impress future hiring managers. The journey home in my modest Honda felt calm. A message arrived from Elizabeth, objective completed. Their expressions were unforgettable. That evening, while getting ready for the gala in my penthouse, I received countless texts from relatives who'd seen the Forbes story. Abruptly, everyone wished to reconnect with their newly discovered successful kin. I disregarded everyone. Instead, I concentrated on the address I'd deliver at the event, speaking about evaluating individuals based on their integrity rather than outward appearances. About how genuine value isn't defined by vehicles or attire, but by one's treatment of others. And as I stood at the podium that night, speaking to a hall of authentic executives and donors, my thoughts drifted to Diana and our mother, likely still in that grand house. Grasping that the daughter they'd belittled for years was now someone they must respect. Sometimes the sharpest payback isn't flaunting your accomplishments. It's allowing others to uncover them themselves, immediately after they've revealed their true nature. The following morning I awoke to a last message from Diana. I'm truly sorry. I'll understand if you can never forgive me. I switched off my phone without replying and gazed through my penthouse window at the sprawling city beneath. Far off stood the FinCorp Technologies headquarters, its emblem glowing in the dawn light. Success, I had discovered, wasn't about disproving doubters. It was about validating your own vision. And occasionally, the most effective method is permitting others to undervalue you until the ideal instant of exposure arrives. I never answered Diana's message. Certain apologies arrive too tardy, and certain teachings are most effective when delivered without words. Besides, I was far too occupied managing my billion-dollar enterprise to dwell on family opinions anymore. They could retain their spare bedrooms. I had an empire to lead.